Friends, welcome back. I am Jason, and this is my gym right here. Yes, I know it's fancy. It's pretty luxurious. It's got loads of very expensive, high-dollar, state-of-the-art equipment. I get it. And maybe you feel like you can't achieve that. But I assure you that you can. And my friends, there are two very important things. The most important aspects of life in general, but physical fitness in particular is what we're speaking about today, that are more important than anything else. Two things. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll make sure I share them with you. And then every year around this time, people start something and then they end up failing. The vast majority of my life, I have been engaging in some sort of physical fitness regiment. I want you to start something that you can continue on for the rest of your life. And that's not a burden. That's not, oh no, I got to do this the rest of my life. It's something that'll just become part of your life and you won't regret it. And I want to help you along the way. I work out at home. You're looking at the gym behind me. That's my gym. I work out in my barn. I work out outside. Yes, I am truly blessed. I have a lot of space to freely move and roam. But hey, if you've got any space whatsoever, if you've got a garage, if you've got a living room, if you've got a backyard, you got a neighborhood, whatever, the playground at your local park, you can figure out a way to be creative and make physical fitness happen and make it, I mean, really, you can achieve some pretty awesome goals with very, very little equipment. I have almost nothing. I mean, I've got some rings right there, some fitness rings hanging from the barn. I've got an old tractor tire right here. I've got a sledgehammer hanging on the wall behind me right there. I've got some barbells. I've got a few kettlebells down here. These guys, I've got some kettlebells. I've got a little bit of equipment, but I've accumulated some stuff over the year, but I've spent very little money. And I've just accumulated some stuff over the year, but to be honest with you, you don't need any of that stuff. You can start with nothing. Just a little bit of free space in your body. It's really all you need, and the will, obviously, to start moving. And I would encourage you to train at home and don't go to the gym. Like that's a big one. A lot of people, they're like, okay, this year it's 2026 and I'm getting a gym membership and I'm gonna get up at 5 a.m. and I'm gonna hit the gym before work every day. And they start that and then they quickly realize, good grief, it's a pretty big burden. And then you're also spending the money going to the gym, and it's just, the to and from the gym and the shower and like all the things, it becomes kind of like this big chore, this big thing that you got to do each and every day. I make my workouts extremely short. Like I said, I train at home. If I had to drive to the gym's like 25 minutes away, the closest one really. If I drove to the gym, typically, most days, I'm done with my workout at home before I would even arrive at the gym to start the workout. So by cutting that out and just training at home, it eliminates that one really big excuse, that I would have. Like, I don't feel like driving into town. And even if you're close to town, even if it's only a 5-minute drive, it's still, you got to get dressed. You got to get out into the car. You got to drive to the gym, you got to do the thing. And that's one more hurdle that you have to jump over that a lot of people would just end up quitting. I was very blessed, and I worked in gym atmospheres for a long time, a big part of my life. I worked for collegiate athletics, and I worked for Naval Special Warfare, and I worked in a gym. Like, that was my job. That's what I did, and it was very convenient for me. So I tried to carry that over into my new life that I've created for myself, doing this whole YouTube thing that I'm doing. And I brought my gym to my house. That's what works for me. Yes, there's definitely some advantages to training in a group atmosphere, going to a gym and having some accountability and having a workout partner perhaps, and some people that keep you like, okay, Bill's gonna be at the gym, he's there and he's waiting on me, and if I don't show up, I'm gonna be a real turd, I'm gonna be letting Bill down, or Steve or Jim or whoever it is, and we don't want to let those guys down, so we're gonna be there, So that's important, and that helps a lot of people. Me personally, I don't necessarily need that. I'm pretty self-motivated for the most part. Maybe that's not you, and you need a little bit of extra accountability, and that's fine. Maybe, proclaim publicly on social media that I'm starting this thing. I'm starting this thing, and I'm sticking with it, and I want you guys to help me keep me accountable. And I mean, that's kind of kind of what I do as well. I have a fitness channel, not just this is my main channel On3, but I also have a fitness channel called Fit On3. And that's where I post my workouts 3 times a week, because I work out 3 times a week. And my workouts typically don't last more than about a half an hour. They're pretty short, but they're high intensity, and I am consistent, because there's 2 things that really matter. 2 things that really, really matter more than anything else when it comes to physical fitness and training. That is consistency and intensity. If I can be consistent and I can get the workouts in regular and I don't skip and I stay disciplined, I will see results. If I am intense and I get after it and I work hard, just like everything else in life, the harder that you work, the better your results will be, the more results that you will see. So I post my workouts 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I have found for my body, this elite specimen that you're looking at here, 3 times a week is just about right for me. It gives me enough time to recover between workouts where I'm not, constantly sore forever. And I'm not beating myself into a pulp. But I'm 41 now. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm no young buck. And I need to pace myself a little bit to avoid injury, and I need to train smart. And that's another point that we can lead up to, is training smart. Listen to your body. If you've got an ache, you got a pain, the solution is not always just push through. I used to be like that. Man, I used to have all kinds of issues, and I still do, but I used to be stupid, and I used to be like, screw it. And I just shove right through that and end up hurting myself. And then what would happen is now, instead of being able to consistently train, you've got to nurse an injury, which is super lame. Nobody has time for that. And if the training is hurting you, what's the point? What are we doing? If the training is hurting you, we're not going to be able to achieve our goals. So we need to pace ourselves. We need to ease into this thing. You didn't get out of shape overnight, and you're not going to get back into shape overnight. You got to think of the long run. What we're training for is general physical preparedness. If you're into the kind of things that I'm into, if you're an outdoorsy type person, if you're preparedness minded individual like myself, it's cold out here, my mouth is getting frozen, then you are into general physical preparedness. You want your body to be ready at a moment's notice for anything and everything that might come your way. I mean, who knows what's going to happen today? Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? We might need to be physically ready for something really challenging. We're not training for a specific event like a marathon perhaps, or a weightlifting meet. We're not training for the football game. We're training for life and whatever life may throw at us. Oftentimes what happens is you get injured, you fall off the wagon, and you never get back on the wagon because of that injury. Don't let that happen. Be smart. Be easy on yourself. If you've got an ache, you got a pain, work around it. Don't just quit. Don't just be like, I hurt my elbow, I can't work it. Shut up. No, you can still go do the things. You still got a whole rest of your body that works. You can work around those injuries almost always. You just got to be creative and think outside the box a little bit. 3 times a week, that works really well for me. And honestly, no more than 30 minutes. I mean, generally speaking, almost all my workouts are 30 minutes or less. Rarely do I go over that. It's just every now and then I'll do a longer one. Like, I guess a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe I did a 60-minute workout. And that was significantly longer than what I normally do. So you're telling me in your excuse book, you can't squeeze in 30 minutes 3 times a week. I find that hard to believe. I think we could all make that happen, no matter how busy you are. I'm a busy guy. We're all busy. But I think we could probably squeeze that in if we're disciplined enough and we're willing to make that happen. Oh gosh. Puppies are the best. They're crazy. They are crazy. Ow. Sharp teeth, man. So, for example, today's workout is going to be a fairly short one, but pretty tough one. I'm going to go a 2-mile hike/run up to the top of the mountain that way over there. Doesn't look that high from here, but good grief, it is something. I think it's about 500 feet of elevation gain from here to the top up there. Ow! And it's a mile. It's 1 mile up, so it's pretty tough, and I'm going to stop at every telephone pole. every single telephone pole, and I'm gonna stop and complete 10 reps of various different exercises. So I'm just being creative. I'm mixing it up a lot. And for me, that's important. I can't stand doing the same thing all the time over and over and over again. It's just, I get real bored with that real fast, and it doesn't work for me. I've got to really have a lot of variety in my workouts, in my life, just in general. I'm pretty squirrely, kind of like this pup here. So mix it up a whole lot, and I'm creative, and I think outside the box. And you don't have to be some sort of fitness guru expert to do this stuff. Now, I highly encourage you to go to my Fit on 3 channel if you're looking for some inspiration and you're looking for some ideas of some workouts that you can start doing. Go there and check it out, and you'll get some ideas, and you can follow along. You can do them, modify them as needed. And that's what I always tell everybody is I'll suggest that you do the workouts that I'm doing, but I don't suggest that you do them word for word exactly the same way that I do them with the same weights and all that stuff. No. So everybody's at a different place. Everybody's at a different fitness level. Everybody's at a different experience level, age, limitations, injuries. Everybody's at a different place. So modify as needed. If, like, for example, I'm doing a 2-mile run up to the top of the mountain and doing 10 reps at every telephone pole, maybe you just do 1 mile. Maybe you're not climbing to the top 500 feet of elevation gain. Maybe you're doing it on flat ground. Maybe, you're in a wheelchair and you're rolling around a track, and you bring some 5-pound weights with you, and you're doing different exercises at every turn on the track. Everybody can start somewhere, and there's not really an excuse for it. So if you're looking for some motivation, some inspiration, some ideas, go to my Fit on 3 channel, and you guys can follow along and do the workouts, and let me know in the comment section what you've done to modify that to make it work for you. Don't just give me an excuse like, oh, that would kill me. I see that all the time. I post workout videos, and one of the biggest comments that I see is like, oh, if I tried that, I'd die 3 steps in. No, you wouldn't. Good grief. That's just an excuse to not start. So I want you to get rid of those excuses, and I want you to beat the weakness out of you. Every time that weakness pops its little stupid head up, I want you to punch it in its stupid nose. For every time an excuse says, punch it right in its freaking face. That's what I want, because I want you guys to be awesome. I want you to achieve something great this year. I want you to feel better. I want you to walk a little taller. Be a little prouder, I've seen it in so many people. That's the thing. I've seen this happen, this magic happen in so many people's lives, where they start this thing, they get a little stronger, they get a little fitter, they get a little thinner, they walk a little taller, and you feel it. You could feel the energy that they're putting off now. They're more confident, capable individuals in it, and that just pours over into every other part of their life. And that's what I want for you. Let me know in the comment section what your New Year's resolution is, what you're committing to this year. Is fitness one of them? I hope so. Maybe it's already a big part of your life, and that's fantastic if it is. Something that's always worked well for me is setting little mini goals. So I'll set like 8-week goals, because typically speaking, 8 weeks is kind of the minimum amount of time when you're talking about physical fitness for you to see some sort of actual result. 6 to 8 weeks, is kind of the minimum. So I'll set like a 2-month goal for myself, and for example, I'll do a 2-mile run. I'm making something up here. A 2-mile run, that's my test. And then 8 weeks later, I'll retest that 2 miles and hope to see some sort of result. And generally speaking, I almost always do. And then I'll mix it up. I'll go for a different goal the next time around, whatever it may be. Getting a heavier power clean or something like that. Whatever. Doesn't really matter. Or maybe I have a race. I sign up for some sort of race or something, some sort of event that makes me push a little bit harder, because I have that goal in mind. That works well for me. You don't need special clothing. You don't need special anything. I do recommend a good pair of shoes. If you're going to be running and stuff like that, that's probably kind of a requirement, a good pair of shoes. Otherwise, you're going to beat yourself up. But you don't need special. I train almost always in just my regular clothes. If I wore jeans that day, I typically work out in the jeans that I was wearing. The only exception is maybe in the hot summer months when I just don't want to be sweating like crazy through my pants, and I might put on a pair of shorts or something. Or I had nicer clothes on that day, perhaps, that I don't want to get them filthy. But for the most part, I work. If I'm wearing this right here, You know, this is what I wore today. This is what I'm going to work out in today. And that's probably going to be the case. So don't make that an excuse either. You got all that you need. If you got a body with working appendages, then you got all the equipment that you need to get started. I would say about 75% of my workouts are calisthenic based, you know, body weight movements and, you know, running, walking, hiking, that kind of stuff on uneven terrain like this. I like to use a lot because this is what the real world looks like. And again, we're talking about general physical preparedness for the real world, whatever the real world might throw at us. A flat, soft, cushy gym, you know, with balanced weights and everything's all perfect and pristine and easy to hold on to and comfortable. That's not the real world. I'm not saying that stuff is wrong, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying you should definitely put a lot of your time into real world training in real world environments like the one that we live in. I would encourage you to get a little bit of training. You know, you can do only so much from, you know, reading articles, watching videos. I would encourage you, if you're just getting started out, to get somebody that actually knows what they're talking about and get them to teach you the proper form on squats and deadlifts and push-ups and how to safely move heavy things. I mean, that's important because, again, if you injure yourself during training, you're kind of missing the point. So get some training. Yeah, again, I mean, I think if that's not in your budget, you don't have anybody in your community that's willing to volunteer a few minutes to help you out, then yeah, watch videos, watch my videos, and try to mimic that to the best of your ability. Because you'll get a lot of people out there that tell you, like, oh, you shouldn't be doing it, you shouldn't be lifting any heavy weights, you shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. I've had people stop me on the roadside before and basically discourage me from exercising because it's bad for me, because I'm gonna hurt myself. I've had people do this all the time, and I smile and I say, oh, I appreciate it, thanks for the concern, but I'm gonna carry on. And they just shake their head and they go on about their lives. A lot of what they're saying is probably coming from past experience where they've attempted to do something difficult, maybe, and they've injured themselves because probably they weren't doing it correctly. They weren't pacing themselves, and they made some kind of rookie mistakes that a lot of people make, and then now they're scarred. Now they'll never do it again because it was dangerous. All right, okay, yes, stuff happens. If you're leading an active lifestyle, you do active things, you exercise, you run, you jump, you hike. Yes, there's a chance of injury, but good grief. Without any risk, there is no reward. There's nothing worth doing is riskless. Like, that's just, I don't understand that mindset. If I wanted to live my life like that, I would just sit home on the couch and watch TV and do literally nothing and be safe. A rich, full life comes with some bumps and bruises and scars. That's just the way it's going to be. Chuck's exercise regimen is pretty simple. So the two things that matter the most, my friends, are intensity and consistency. If you can do those two things right there, intensity and consistency, you will see results. You will be amazed at what it does for you, not only in the way that you look and that you feel, but the things that it carries over to. All the other aspects of your life, your spiritual, your mental, your emotional strength will all improve. Your confidence will improve. You'll walk taller. You'll be a little prouder. You'll speak more confidently. All of these things come from a disciplined, intense, and consistent workout regimen. And that's what I want for each and every single one of you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're on Substack. I'm on all kinds of different things. I don't even know. It goes on forever. I stay pretty busy these days. Me and my wife, we've been working really hard to grow my small business. And I'm grateful for each and every contribution, all of the views. Everything that you can do to support the channel is going to be in the comment section and the description of this video. And until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3.